So, have you ever wondered why a totally normal everyday moment can suddenly feel like a literal life or death situation? Well, welcome to this explainer. Today we're going to unravel a deeply fascinating scientific mystery, the biology of survival. We're going to figure out exactly why your ancient brain still causes you to absolutely panic over the smallest things. Okay, imagine this incredibly common scenario. You send a message to a friend or maybe a partner and crickets. You've been left on red. Now, logically, you know this isn't a real threat, right? I mean, they're probably just busy. Yet, suddenly, your heart races. Your muscles get all tight. You literally feel an immediate primal physiological shift in your entire body. Or consider this classic trigger. Your boss casually walks by your desk and simply says, "Hey, we need to talk." Boom. Instantly, your thoughts spiral into a hurricane of sheer terror. Your mind completely bypasses all logic and just assumes you're about to get fired, even if you've been doing absolutely stellar work. So what is going on here? Why does the human brain react so violently to such small, everyday events? Why do raw emotions completely overpower rational logic in these moments? Well, understanding this hidden biological system is the very first step to regaining control. Section 1. The Ancient Survival Alarm. To find our answer, we actually have to travel back about 40,000 years, long before smartphones and office buildings even existed. Back then, every single day brought absolute uncertainty. Think about it. A sudden rustle in the tall grass could just be the wind, sure, but it could also be a deadly predator. And waiting around to be absolutely certain before taking action, well, that often meant death. So evolution favored a very specific mechanism. We can call it the better safe than sorry strategy. Our ancestors who totally overreacted to harmless sounds, they were the ones who survived. Why? Because wasting a little energy running from the wind was vastly preferable to, getting eaten. Generation after generation, the humans with the absolute fastest emotional triggers survived. And that exact same hardware, it's sitting inside your head right now. Section 2, emotion outpaces human logic. Let's take a look at the actual biological hardware driving all of this. On one side, you have the amygdala. It's this small, almond-shaped structure that essentially acts as your internal alarm system. It is lightning fast, and it is constantly scanning for threats. Then, on the other side, you have the prefrontal cortex. This is the highly evolved, logical part of your brain, but it requires precious time to analyze a situation properly. Because the amygdala processes information so much faster than the prefrontal cortex, your emotional brain always gets the first vote. It triggers fear or anger or panic long before your conscious mind even understands what's actually happening. This massive speed discrepancy is exactly why you might instinctively snap at someone and then totally regret it just moments later. Section 3. Social rejection as survival. Thousands of years ago, early humans depended entirely on their tribes. Being rejected didn't just hurt your feelings back then, it meant losing your source of food and protection. It literally meant certain death. And because of that ancient wiring, your brain today treats a modern critical comment or being left out of a group chat or missing an invitation as a literal survival emergency. The dangers have completely changed, but your brain's reaction, it really hasn't. Section 4. The power of negativity bias. Have you ever noticed that one single negative comment can just completely erase the impact of 10 glowing compliments? Well, it's a real thing, and it's called the negativity bias. See, your ancestors survived by paying far more attention to danger than to comfort. Ignoring a beautiful sunset? Zero consequences. But ignoring a predator? Instantly fatal. So, one negative comment just commands massive real estate in your attention, totally dwarfing the positives. It is so crucial to understand that your mind isn't actively trying to make you miserable by hyper-focusing on the bad. Actually, it's simply defaulting to an ancient setting that was specifically designed to keep you alive. Section 5. Stress amplifies the threat. Now, when you're calm and rested, your logical prefrontal cortex remains comfortably in control of the ship. But modern life often pushes us right into exhaustion. When you're overworked, stress hormones like cortisol absolutely flood your system. This keeps your brain on high alert and makes your amygdala incredibly sensitive. In this state, a minor disagreement turns into a screaming match, and a delayed text suddenly feels like total, crushing rejection. Section 6. Taking back emotional control.
So if we can't just eliminate our emotions, I mean, we are human after all, how do we stop them from constantly hijacking our lives? The goal here is to give your logical prefrontal cortex the critical time it needs to catch up. First, just pause. Second, take a slow breath. Third, ask yourself, is this actually dangerous or does it only feel dangerous? Just asking that question forces logic to engage. And finally, name your emotion. The science behind that last step is honestly fascinating. Research shows that verbally labeling your emotion, saying out loud, I'm feeling anxious, rather than saying something catastrophic like I'm completely falling apart, significantly reduces the intensity of your brain's alarm response. You are literally taking raw primal fear and converting it into a structured, logical observation. Talk about a game changer. As we wrap up this explainer, please remember this one thing. Overreacting doesn't mean you're weak, and it certainly doesn't mean you're broken. Your brain just evolved over millennia to spot danger quickly and treat any uncertainty as a deadly threat. It's actually working exactly as it was designed to.
Your first emotional reaction is completely automatic. You can't stop the amygdala from doing its job. But the more you understand this ancient system, the less it controls you. Because your second response, how you act after that initial spike of panic, well, that is a choice. So the next time you feel your heart racing over an unanswered text or a super vague email from your boss, just pause. Acknowledge those ancient alarm bells ringing in your head and ask yourself, now that you know the secret of the ancient brain, what will your modern mind decide to do next? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this helps you navigate your world with just a little more clarity.